All right, so we've played a few different decks with Lotus Cobra in it already. This deck is looking at kind of the other part of what Landfall can have to offer, which is potentially an aggressively slanted Landfall deck. So Akoum Hellhound here gets 2/2 when lands come into play. Brushfire Elemental gets 2/2 when lands come into play. Mammoth gets 2/2 when lands come into play. Embercleave can give all of these things lots of extra power and trample, double strike to punch through with people. One thing that's really sweet with all these new land spell split cards is we're actually only playing 15 actual lands in our deck. We've got Smashings and Symbiosis as flip lands. We've got some Mammoth as split lands. We've got some Furies as split lands. So we have kind of 29 virtual lands on top of our 15 actuals. John Charlie, thank you for the sub gift. I appreciate that.
It wasn't for you, it was for Haley.
Oh, it's for you? What should we do with your sub gift money, baby girl? Formula? I think it's a good idea. So we've got some other just good red-green cards in here. We've got Bonecrusher Giants and Scavenging Ooze. One card I'm not so sure on, I'm trying out a couple copies of Inscription of Abundance here, which is an instant speed fight card, a little bit of a combat trick, and can gain life in the aggressive matchups. There also is an instant speed green fight card that makes a land drop as well, so it's possible that that land spell split card could be better than Inscription, but I'm going to start with Inscription and see if there's too many games where we wish that it could be a land. Oh, you got heart bitties too, baby girl.
Just baby girl. Mike probably didn't pick me up when I was talking like that, did it? Did I get RTX'd? RTX'd?
Do you have any way other than Passage to play multiple lands a turn? Yes, Nahiri's Lithomancy is a pseudo scape shift. Do we have more fetches than fetchable lands? I think I have 5 fetchable lands. There were 2 forests off to the left. Yeah, we have 3 mountain, 2 forest. All right, perfectly keepable 3-lander here. Why would the idea that they're introducing these cards to reduce resource variance be tinfoil heady? It's just objectively correct. Their goal in introducing land spell split cards is to reduce variance in Magic, and reducing variance in Magic is a good thing. Diapers are expensive, here's some bits. You are not wrong, Blue. Thanks for the support, I appreciate it. Oh, I technically should have not tapped my other green. It probably doesn't matter. We're going to run them down here. This might sound like a conspiracy, Jeff, but I think Wizards is trying to make their game better. I agree. Well, that was an excellent start. It was good. Good times. Good times were had. I had fun. Do you think my opponent had fun? So I am not being facetious when I say this, because it's so absurd it sounds like I'm joking. But there are a number of people who genuinely enjoy playing games of Magic where their opponent doesn't get to do anything and is just stuck there watching them play. And those types of people like Flood and Screw because they get to have their deck that's otherwise unplayable, like, get to do its thing because their opponent just doesn't get to play. I think games like that are mostly silly and kind of suck. You're welcome to disagree, that's subjective. No, I'm not even talking about, like, casting cards that make your opponent not play. I'm talking about, like, they literally just don't take game actions. I'm not even saying telling them no over and over again. I'm saying they literally just don't do anything. I don't want a sideboard here. I don't really know what their deck is doing. Maybe Scorching Dragonfire, because it can tag their, what's it called? Their 2-drop. Cinderclasm could be good too, because it cleans those up. Why is everyone a mod? I give people who have been subscribed to the channel for 12 months a mod sword. So that way, if their financial situation changes and they can no longer subscribe, they can still participate in chat. Because I like to keep sub mode on, so that way chat doesn't get too spammy. But I also understand the world's a rough place sometimes. Well, you do have that Prime icon next to your name, Vernash, so even if you can't pay to sub, make sure you drop that off somewhere. Lord knows Jeff Bezos doesn't need the extra $3 a month. Do mods have access to Discord if they are not sub? They do not. Discord's an automated system. Cody Pants, thanks for the brand new Prime support. Speaking of, welcome to Hoaglandia. Speaking of Prime, returning Dawn, returning again. Think of using your Prime sub as a way to take a couple of bucks from Jeff Bezos and give them to someone on here making stuff on Twitch. Can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. I'm evasive. I mean, if you don't like me, I'm sure Crokies or Newmod or Caleb or one of the dozens of other great Magic creators out here would appreciate your Prime. Just make sure you drop it off somewhere. Next turn, attack for 10. How do we attack for 10? I can't put 2 lands into play. Avatar End, thanks for the sub gifty. I appreciate that. Welcome. Yeah, Brushfire Elemental seems real sweet. Subpar Nova, thanks for 13 months. Oh yeah, it does kind of look like Evolving Wilds, doesn't it? Yeah, I'll give you that. Gosh, Teferi's annoying. He can phase out my stuff now. So the problem is they're just going to not target. They just won't phase anything out if I don't try and. I think I have to attack Teferi this turn, right? And then I try and cleave them next turn. So I think the play here is play this untapped, trigger these. Morning, Mama Gagetto. Yeah, we're gonna be doing. My plan is to do standard almost daily. Definitely Magic daily, standard almost daily. We're going to get back to a mix of historic stuff next week. So we'll get to play the Mammoth here. And then next turn we can cleave this one, because this is the one they can block. Brushfire. Initial impressions, Brushfire Elemental seems like the real deal. Yeah, I mean, attacking is the only option. This gains 3 life when it blocks, though. Hopefully they block the Mammoth. And then we get to cleave them into oblivion. Create a green beast. So if I cleave this, they're taking 10, 13, they're dead. Because they didn't gain 3, right? Good beats. Good night. MTG, thank you for the 5 months. Really appreciate the Prime support. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Are we a mythic gamer, chat? Look at that. We're so professional. Such a skill game. Hey, Drax, thanks for the sub-gifties. Good morning to you. For folks who are here this morning, by the way, if you're a new viewer, welcome to the channel. I stream full-time here on Twitch. We do a ton of Magic and other card game and strategy games and some art role-playing games as well. This is going to be my last deck this morning. We're going to play for another hour and a half or so. But I will be back tonight. So my schedule these days, I'm doing a few hours every morning and a few hours every evening. During the week, weekend schedules vary a little bit. Tomorrow is our next Hoaglandia Open. If you think you broke Standard and you want to prove it to everyone with some while playing on some sweet coverage, be sure to sign up for that. Sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc. over on Melee. I have 3 lands, but my hand's kind of clunky and awkward, right? I think this is a mulligan. I'd like to look for some of my 1s and 2s. Yeah, that sounds great. Your new schedule is a lot better for my work productivity, if I'm being honest. God bless. It's unfortunate. No, there's no house bans for the tournament this weekend. I do not intend to ever do house bans for Standard Opens. If Standard is bad to a point where I feel like I need to house ban things, we will just play Historic instead. If Historic is also bad, we will ban an Historic, but my plan is to never do Standard with house bans. I think this is a good trade for me. So we like trade these off, they go to 7. Why does Obnath cantrip? Asking the real questions. I think we have to pump the brakes at this point, right? And then we're probably dead. It was like, this card's just gonna undo all the damage we've done over the course of 2 turns. Do I want Klothys against their... I don't think so. I think I'm going to put the Armored Killers in for killing their Enchantment Dryad. Let's try this. I need to leave Bonecrusher in so we can kill Lotus Cobras. Okay, mulligan this. It can't go 2 into 3 because these are both tapped. This is fine, right? This is a green source. We're hoping to draw an untapped green. That's perfect. Okay, so we get to do this. We get to go Elemental here. And then next turn we go Elemental, land, attack for 6. The following turn, land, Questing Beast, attack for 10. Do I hold this to cast as a spell? I think that might be right at this point. Yeah, I mean, that's a turn 5. Turn 4? That was their turn 4, actually, right? Because they Urod on 3? That was turn 4. It doesn't feel like we're playing the same format. They're gonna gain another 7 there. We're gonna draw some more cards. Yeah, there's been a few BSQ. Magic's been pretty at a lot of really not balanced formats in recent memory. I don't have any green spell lands here, so mulligan. That's fine. Probably bottom the Inscription in the Dark. We could bottom the Fury. I don't really need a third red source. Can a mod create a command explaining how the percents work? We had one at some point. Someone must have deleted it. Killed their Lotus Cobra here. Yeah, the next Historic Open will have Uro, Claim, and Muxus banned. The Standard Open this weekend does not have any house bans, though. We would like to highlight Standard for what it is and all of its current glory, or potentially lack thereof, depending on how things shape up. Yeah, Green Charm seems playable. I agree. Has Goblins come back to Historic? Goblins is the best deck in Historic right now, and it is not particularly close. Well, that's probably an over-exaggeration. Goblins is very competitive in a very obnoxious and polarizing way. Is probably a better, more accurate description. Claim the Firstborn, Gunther. You're off for the Historic Open. Well, I haven't picked a date for the Historic Open yet, Great Oxby. I think it's probably going to be the first weekend in October, but I haven't locked that in. I'm waiting to see how this weekend goes before I commit to running another tournament. Do I Lithoforming or do I just Embercleave? want to just cleave my Radha. I guess if I Lithoforming, I could theoretically make this a 9/9, but that still doesn't force chump blocks, right? I guess we're just hoping that they have nothing because we can't beat anything. I guess I can attack with this. And they can trade? Yeah, I guess we just trade, right? So just hoping for them to not have a creature one of these times. They keep having creatures, their terror is going to keep picking us apart. Yeah, just did. Yeah, there aren't even really sideboard cards we can play. Like, none of these cards are particularly useful. There aren't really anti-ramp cards. There's no Zozu the Punisher in this format. Even that probably wouldn't be good enough, honestly, with how much life they gain. Hey, Bob, thank you for the 37 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Ooh, Redcap's a good inclusion. It's a good thought. It kills Terror and Omnath. Yeah, I like that suggestion. If we get a game 3, we'll do that. Excited to board those in and then have our opponent, just draw arrows. Fabled Passage with Elemental is pretty good. I'm pretty sure Earl always puts the front half into play Disoriental. Right? Is that correct? I want my new bit badge and some Mechanist. You should definitely watch the intro movie. Sounds good, Rob. I appreciate your generosity. Hope you're staying safe out there. Uro can only put in the front half of a card. Excellent. My understanding is correct. Alright, well, you know. Maybe we're sufficiently linear. Opponent made no plays other than Uro and died. I'm into it. Quaddle. The percentages include people who aren't in Mythic. I believe. I believe it's all players total, right? Man. No second red here being brutal. Hey, these Crawling Barrens are just bad. They should just be more basics. Yes, youngest son. What's up? You need me? Why? You need me to spell something? Sorry, my 5-year-old was being very ominous sounding. Now with an even better badge. Most excellent. Hey chat, remember that time we attacked for 16 or 14 on turn 4? And now my opponent's at 10? I remember. And they're just gonna gain 4 more next turn too? Okay, yeah, good chat. Good chat. Good conversation. Like I said, like, people who keep asking for, like, thoughts on the format, it's very easy for the format to feel good when most of your opponents aren't doing stuff like that. But as the format gets more optimized and there's more things like that in the format, as people get bored of trying things that are wacky and wild. So, like, it's hard to know if the format's good, bad, or fun when you don't know what the top decks are going to be yet. Exploring new formats tends to always be interesting, but what is the surviving deck and what is the established good decks doing and what do the play patterns look and feel like? That's what you need to know in order to answer the question, is the format good? And that's just not something we'll have an answer to for a few weeks yet. We're running our Hoaglandia Open tournament this weekend. Channel Fireball's running a tournament. Star City Games has their first Standard Open next weekend. So once we get a few events under our belts and have data points to look at, we'll be able to have a much better answer to, is this format reasonable and fun? So far, our current deck does not feel like it's particularly competitive against the Omnath ramp decks. Does not feel like it's sufficiently linear enough to get under them consistently. Getting my land Kitesail freebooted is exciting, said no one ever. Yeah, I agree that the anti-healing enchantment's probably not good enough. You can't afford to be holding up mana for that. Correct, Violet Journey. Arena's economy is incredibly unforgiving. Slothful Puppy, thanks for the 2 months. I appreciate that. Thanks for shipping your Bezo bucks this way this month. Appreciate you dropping those off. So this can't block. Landfall lets them recast it from their bin, and they can kick it to make it bigger. You murderous rider, my questing beast. I'm glad I brought it back up. Huh? I think I'm just playing questing beast again. We did not, Dirty Digits. So again, it's not just Omnath that beats you. So like, people are suggesting things that kill Omnath. Those decks are a sum of their parts, chat. It's not just Omnath. It's Omnath pairs with Uro as well. And again, the reason why Uro is good for people that still don't get it is that after you spend a card killing Uro, they already drew 2 cards and gained 6 life. So you spent a card to kill their Divination double healing salve. That's the fundamental issue and the thing that makes Uro good. I love to Doomblade, Rogue Refiner. Yeah, that too, right? Like even Omnath. Omnath, after you kill it, he drew a card and gained 4 life as well. Like it's very, very similar problem. At least Omnath's a little bit more color restrictive and can't be recast from the graveyard. So like at a minimum, we've got that going. Like Omnath feels bad to use removal against, but at least it's not repeatable. 17 months. Thanks for that, Flying V. This is a green source, so this is keepable. If any of the party builds been decent. We played red-white aggro party yesterday that felt okay. It's up on YouTube. I tagged it as the deck of the day. Yeah, at least if you counter or discard Omnath, that is a clean 1-for-1. It's a really, really good summary. Big agree. I think Omnath as a card is more than fine. I think Uro continues to be offensive and should not be a Magic card. Omnath is not too powerful. I think Omnath's a really sweet card, and I'm glad it exists. Trying to race here might be wrong, because this thing lifelinks. We're only one turn off of kicking this. I think I gotta leave one of these elementals back, because if I don't leave it back and they have a removal spell, we die on the backswing. So if they like Murderous Rider, Questing Beast here, at least I can block here and not be dead. Yeah. I don't know that we're gonna win this game, but this is gonna make it a 5/5, gain X life, gain 5 life, fight something. Yeah, I think that's a really good summary. Disoriental. There's a number of games that kind of feel bad because of bad play patterns, but we're at least actually playing games of Magic. It's something that I definitely find myself agreeing with. Who are we killing here? That kicks and comes back, so probably just the Null Priest. Okay, if we can find chump blockers, we could not be out of the game for a little bit. We're unfortunately 1 mana shy of that. Can't even bolt myself. I'm happy with how I boarded. I don't think I want these Nectarpots. Their stat line doesn't line up super well to what our opponent's doing. Definitely want these Klothys with their landfall recurrent creature. Parsing what's in my hand. 3-lander, keep. Yes, it is, Mary Squirrel. Yes, it is. Control decks are never good early. You need to know what you're looking to control. Format's got a lot of everything, because people are trying things, so in order to play a control deck, you need to know what your answers need to look like, which we currently don't. I think I'm just playing the Mammoth here. You know what the best aggro deck is? I don't even know if aggro is playable. The Uro Omnith decks gain a lot of life, and they get on the board very quickly. You probably want to hold on to that. It's an okay draw on top of my deck, too. So, are they trying to force me to Cinderclasm here, or do they have... I'm just putting this into play here. I have these as removal spells in hand. I wouldn't mind being able to kick this next turn. So, the Magic Arena Black screen is a really innovative new feature that Wizards has implemented to ensure that people who are unlucky aren't going to be able to play Magic Arena. Because if you're not lucky, you probably won't win many games anyway, so they're just like trying to make sure that that doesn't happen. They're thinning them out in advance. It's like, ideally, if you have a sufficiently large Magic tournament, you should DQ half of the competitors before round 1 to ensure that your tournament doesn't have anyone unlucky in it. The black screen's the same kind of premise. Grapple, thank you for the 28 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Hey, Therapy, thank you for the brand new Prime support. Welcome to Oglandia. Thanks for being played here this month with that. That's true. It could also, it's just basic cumulative variance balancing. So by adding spell lands to the game, they removed a lot of variance that Magic had. So by adding variance to who's able to actually log in, it's a transitive variance property. You can't just take variance and get rid of it yet. It has to go somewhere. So, see, exactly like thermodynamics. Bob gets it. Red source, green source, fetch land, sign me up. Our opponent's number 3 on the ladder, chat. Their deck has to be busted. They are trying their hardest. Confidence. Thank you for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome to Oglandia. Sequencing decisions. Do we passage, crack it, crack them for 9, and then play Skews this turn? I think that's the line. I think it's passage, 9U. Even if they have a removal spell, they're still taking 4. Oh, I just clicked through it. That's fine. We'll hold it for next turn. They have Brazen Borrower anyways. Deal Arena. They have our missing percentage point. Opponent, you're number 3 on the ladder. Come back. What are you doing, opponent? Blue-black Brazen Borrower. Do I put them on rogues and like board in Armored Killer? Just assume they have Flying Dorks? I'm gonna go on the defensive on the draw. Yeah, feels like a bad rogue draw. Let's try this. I like how this bug's still here where you could scroll the cards up into it. How the deck's been today. The Omnath deck we played was excellent. This deck's been a little middling. Feels competitive against other bad decks. I guess these new lands don't make it easy to get back into Arena. I think there's a good chance that this current standard format is the most expensive Magic's ever been on Arena. Needing these mythics makes it a lot more expensive to get into. Really wish they'd make the economy more consumer friendly. Squibfish, thanks for the 18 months. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, Bob. These land spells are the monkey paw solution to players saying they have too many mythic wild cards. Now they won't have too many mythics because they won't have enough. Sounds good, Grapple. Are they a control deck and not rogues? I'm really confused as to what exactly they're doing. Our opponents like cast 1 spell in 2 games so far. Slither Wisp, they're a bad flash deck? Are they like rogues flash? I guess the rogues have a lot of flash cards in them. It's interesting. I mean, from a design perspective, Bob, I love these cards. They're sweet, powerful cards that remove variants from Magic. It's just a shame that, like, that removal mechanic was paired in a very consumer-unfriendly way. Well, that's just rude. That being said, Klothys should be real good here. How do you feel about trading here? This is another Zulaport duelist, right? So let's take 3. I have Klothys to gain life. It's probably just another one of this idiot. It's a really cute combat trick. It mills too, so it works with your synergies. It works with Slitherwisp. Seems like a sweet innovation. We're going to prioritize, I guess, I was going to say, I think we're going to prioritize exiling from our graveyard, but I want to exile these creatures with Scavenging Ooze, I think. So I'm going to take their Extinction Event, actually. Armored Killer here is a 4/4 and just pass, I think. Just kind of turtle up instead of my Klothys for a bit. The flash aspect of rogues is one I hadn't thought of. We built rogues as like a flying evasive deck. Gosh, they just have a bunch of cards that are bad against Scavenging Ooze though, huh? I agree. Slitherwisp as a card is incredibly sweet. He does just have ninjutsu. That is correct. It's not ninjutsu because they don't reuse keywords like that. They just write it out. Rogue Jitsu. I think I'm just playing out another 4 power blocker, so I have lots of ways to make sure this doesn't hit me. Although I guess my graveyard's also empty, so it's just not a big deal if this hits me. Oh, this is explicitly just rogues. Okay. You're right. It's technically not just ninjutsu. Let's exile this forest here, so that way this loses a power. I guess I don't really care if this hits me, right? Because I have, like, Scavenging Ooze. I guess if they, like, kill my Skoos and then hit me, they could return it. They could return it to play. I'm trying to decide if I want to attack. I think I do. They kind of made an attack earlier this game, like they had another duelist though. So like we could see them block and then duelist to eat my thing, but like then my Scavenging Ooze gets bigger, so I think that's still okay. We're just going to 3. All right, deal Areno. Oh, I should technically wait and use that mana to eat my own land, right? Because I need to exile. Oh, that's cute. They technically put a creature into my graveyard with that. That's funny. Alright, I might have hyped up my opponent's rank 3 deck unintentionally, chat. They might not have. They might not have had the best deck. They had a neat idea. Flash Rogues, yeah, that was their rank 3. Though obviously, and again, like I said, even people who are rank 3 are trying things, chat. Like, the ladder is not particularly good testing. The ladder is good for figuring out if your deck is cohesive. It's not good for figuring out if your deck is competitive. If that distinction makes sense. You can like figure it out. You can like figure out if hey, awesome, bub. You can figure out like if your deck like can execute its own game plan. It's really difficult to figure out if your deck is if your game plan is good enough against the other top decks just because of the range you play against. The ladder's been open for practically a day. You should be able to start a hard-lettered tier list by now. Yeah, especially early in formats. It's good for figuring out, like, what cards feel good, but not necessarily what combinations of cards are ideal together. Not really a day it wasn't playable. That really doesn't matter. Even if it had been playable for a day, it still wouldn't be reasonable to expect stuff like that. Hey, chat, you want to see a trick? Bolting yourself against the Bolt Sleeve deck is brave. My dojo does not contain fear, chat. You can't let the fear into your dojo, okay? I really don't think my aggro deck wants tapped lands. We're one mana away from killing them this turn. No, flinging my 6 power thing against their Uro deck is really not a good play, chat. It's really not a good play. It's only a good play if they're dying from it. Agreed. The mana base has been super functional. We have yet to attack with Crawling Barrens, though. And I think there's a chance that Crawling Barrens is just too slow and fair. And, like, that type of effect just, like, isn't really good anymore in Magic. And they should just be colors of mana, like, more basics. Untapped green source, please. So if we had hit the untapped land there, we would have been able to Abundance to kill the Lotus Cobra. Unfortunately, it gets to live now. So if they have Omnath, they could cast it here. Slow and fair isn't great. Gotta go fast. Zoom, zoom. My opponent cast 8 mana worth of spells on turn 3 for those of you at home that weren't counting. For those of you at home that are just following along in the background, their Lotus Cobra just allowed them to cast 8 mana worth of spells on turn 3. And gained 6 life. I can't fathom that we made it to rotation and they decided to, like the fact that they banned Growth Spiral last season and not Uro is just like, it's mind-boggling, chat. Just completely unfathomable. His deck was supposed to have Oko too. Oh, it's funny because it hurts. And once upon a time. I agree that I would rather play against Oko than Uro. Hey, Pepperidge Farm Forever, thanks for the 14 months. Welcome back. Once upon a time, Oko and other broken cards were supposed to be legal with Lotus Cobra and Uro. It's a good tweet, I think. Nothing but the highest quality crap post, chat. Nothing but the highest quality crap posting. Veil of Summer would have rotated to people saying Veil would also be legal. Veil's in the same set as Aether Gust, just for reference. I'm playing this tapped. I don't really want to trade these here. Their third Uro in however many cards here. Oh, I can't currently mouse over their deck to see how many cards. Third Uro and 18 cards. Blue, green. They can't escape it this turn at least. How long till we all can escape Uro? 51 weeks, 5 days, 12 hours, 21 minutes, and 22 seconds till we escape Uro, chat. Slow ride. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. Wait, did they miss it? They missed it. They could have cracked the fetch and made mana, right? To escape Uro. Look at all our beautifully colored arrows, chat. A questing beast, a cleave, and a dream. A chip and a chair, chat. A chip and a chair. That's all you need. Win the whole thing. I just realized that's a poker reference. Yes, a chip refers to a poker chip because all you need to win the poker tournament is a chip and a chair to sit in. How's this been? It's felt not good against the Uro decks. But I think that's most decks against the Uro decks, so like, you know, take it for what you will. Maybe Cleave is gonna drag us kicking and screaming across the finish line. Oh, I thought it was potato chips. They are out of cards in here. They only have 2. It's like we're hitting them to 8. Are you dead yet? Nope, solidly not dead yet. So this is the 4th card towards escaping their Uro. Are they out of basics? That's a good question. We're gonna find out, huh? Yeah, okay. So that's their last basic. So do we got it? Did we get them, chat? Nope. They're still dead on board, right? Because of Death Touch and Trample. Are we gonna do it? Did we do it? Have we defeated the monster? Smelling pretty dead to me. Alright, and then this is lethal, right? You ready to bring the fire, chat? The brush fire? You ready to bring the brush fire? Oh! They kept the wrong Omnath. That's funny. That's a good catch. I agree with that, Nam. Obviously weaker than when it had in the sub. Waiting. Do 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 do. Oh look, I've received a gift. Thanks, Bob. I like games. MTGA is back on its crap again, chat. We're gonna play some of that on stream next week, courtesy of Bob. Yeah, it sounds fine, right? These are lands. You beat Uro and Hobnath, and Arena's not happy about it. Sounds right. So far, I have yet to activate these, and they've been awkward not making red mana a couple of times. I think I'm going to replace these with mountains. Really want an untapped red here so we can cleave. I just don't have it. If this was a mountain and we could have shocked this into cleave this turn, probably be in a pretty can't lose position. Apparently, after the WeChat and TikTok download ban, the US government is going to go after Epic and Riot. Of course they're going to go after Epic and Riot, chat. Free market capitalism is only a thing that Republicans profess to believe in. They throw it out the window anytime it shows even the smallest bit of inconvenience to them. Yeah, you're good, Jerry. I have a, what's it called? I have a dashboard for all of those. So I check those after the stream. I don't always verbally acknowledge them. Well, since I can't cleave anyways, I think I'm going to Crawling Barrens and then offer to let them eat one of these so I can smash with everything else. So, like, if they want to eat one of these, they're taking, like, 8 to 10. Which seems fine for me. D Price is right. Thanks for the 9 months. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Yeah, I mean, like, if they actually cared about your privacy and stuff like that, they'd be working to like disable the Facebook, Instagram, stuff like that, right? Like this is purely posturing in a racist manner for their base. Drew the red source on time at least, so. Yeah, the double-sided cards, Frozen Sky, are always whatever's on their front side. Everywhere except when they're in play. Hey, thanks for the tip, Seth. I don't think you need to get rid of all of the services Facebook does, Bob, but like Facebook, Google, those big tech companies, one of the things Warren had really good plans for was that they shouldn't be the monopolies that they are. Is definitely the case, I think. They have too much consolidation. How do you know what's on the front? You just have to know what the card is. Big country. Make sure you got a sword to go with that shield. I would believe that is the case, Bob. Amazon too, right? Is saying, speaking as someone who's currently streaming on Twitch, an Amazon subsidiary, Amazon also has way too much consolidation. All those companies buy out all these other places, and like, there's just too much all wrapped up in one place, basically. Treble, thanks for the 3/4 of a year. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, I agree, Dwight. Collected company decks in Historic. I really hope they ban Muxus in Historic. Historic is so close to being super reasonable if I could just not die to goblins on turn 3. There are a lot of cards in this set I really want to play with in Historic. I would just really like to not randomly die on the 3rd turn of the game. Yes, there is another turn 3 combo in the Neoform deck now as well. I mean, Uro shouldn't be legal in that format either, James. Can Uro put spell lands into play? It cannot. I think I'm just Radha-ing here to try and generate value this way. Yeah, it works out real well. The turn 3 Neoform combo in Historic is in my deck queue. If you want a shell to start with, we'll probably get to it sometime next week or the week after. No, Gold Dead Ringer, that archetype's just not competitive. Are they dead this turn? Pretty close. Yeah, feel free, trigger warning. Maybe we're not as bad against the ramp decks as the first couple of matches felt. Thoughts on this? We never got to Lithoforming, so I don't really have thoughts on that one. I feel like I want to keep these to try and get them going some more. Radha was really good pretty consistently. Inscription of Abundance, I kind of feel like overperformed. Fury was kind of clunky and awkward and not very good. I think I want Spikefield Hazard rather than Fury. This is a land split card, so that's nice. And having cheap ways to kill Lotus Cobra is something that's going to be very important in this format. So I think playing those in the main makes a lot of sense. I think I want a second Redcap Melee, not because of red aggro, but because of Omnath. Yeah, you could also tag Uro in response to it sacrificing itself. That's narrow, but is something that's going to come up. I think I'll put a third spike in the board. I think I would do this. I don't know. You need more games. Like I said, we only played for 90 minutes. It's hard to know exactly what's good or bad with sample sizes like that, but there might be something here. This card was really impressive. The evasion on this card seems fine. Definitely something worth checking out. All right, we've got almost 1,500 people in here, so rather than being done for the day, I think I'm gonna do one more deck this morning. What do we got next in the queue? You want to play a 12 land deck, chat? Who's down for a 12 land deck? Does that sound fun? All right, we're gonna play some Ancient Green Warden here up next in this Naya shell. I'm gonna do a quick ad roll, like everything's set up and flipped over. When we get back, we're gonna play some Felidar Retreats and Ancient Green Wardens and only 12 actual lands. So be back in just a few. Speaking of some of the things we've talked about, I think I actually want some Spikefield Hazards in here. Hey, Big Boy Feet, thanks for the Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Where can you find Jeff's deck list? You can type ! decks in chat to get a direct link to all my deck lists. Post this current one on the stream decker here.